Okay, so this isn't directly Pokemon, but it's inspired off it. So right now I just want to introduce you to the types and how well they fare against each other before moving on to the Pokemon, well, Creatats. And this, I'll explain that when I get to the starters. Now, before we address the starter, I want to point out the difference between the two ways that these creatures will be described, and that is Palcree and Creatat. You see, Palcree is used by those who domesticate these creatures and have them as pets, while Creatat is used by those who use them kind of like Pokemon to like battle and all that. And you see, they're called this because Pal is in friend, and then creature, and then creature, and then combat. Growlfoul gets its name from, well, fowl, which is a young horse, and growl, which leads to fighting. For naming these Creatats, sometimes I aim to go for the species they are, mixed with their typing. Now, in Pokemon, you need to get your starter up to level 16, which I feel is a bit easy, so I'm changing that to 25. And then they evolve again at 36, so I'm moving that up to 50 because I want it to feel more like a challenge. So yeah, this is the fighter starter, and its description is: once a beloved pet, this Palcree has been reduced to just livestock for the armor gained upon evolution. It is for this reason that the species is dangerously close to extinction. And now, at level 30, Growlfoul evolves into Warpugo, a fighting steel type. You see, I based the name solely off of a book, and that book is Warhorse by Michael Morpurgo. Now, the reason why Growlfoul evolves later than the other starters is because it's a tactic. You see, time is very precious for Growlfouls, because once they evolve and they gain metal armor, the metal armor does regenerate if taken off or broken, but it'll be extremely painful. So the only somewhat humane way to harvest the metal is by killing the Creatat beforehand. So the Growlfouls try to ensure that they don't grow like the metal armor, or at least gain it as late as possible to survive. Now, when it dies is decided by whoever owns the livestock that the Warpugo would be a part of. So it honestly depends. Like, sometimes if it gets sick, then it gets killed for the metal. But other times, well, most cases, people wait for it to fully evolve before taking the metal. Now, at level 55, still using that pushing back evolutionary potential tactic, it finally evolves into its true final form, Wyrrmount. I named this Palcree after Wyre, which apparently means like war, and mount, which that's a horse, and it's also the way that this Palcree was used in wars, back hundreds and thousands of years ago. In the past, Wyrrmounts were ridden out to war, and during those wars, Wyrrmounts would constantly protect their allies, but keep them safe in any way, shape, or form that they were capable of. They often brought injured soldiers or dead ones to a healing camp, and they gave the injured some of their armor, like its own armor, so that they could, get repairs, get more armor, and just be able to fight, or they'd use it to forge better weapons. But either way, Wyrrmount was, and still is, an extremely loyal ally to humans. Now we're on to the air starter, which is Griffly, the griffin creatat. This small creature often hides away in caves, scared of any predators, since it hasn't unlocked its true potential yet, and its best way of defending itself is slashing desperately with its claws. So it watches as its evolutions fly around freely, harness the abilities they've unlocked. Now, Griffly is taking notes. There's probably multiple Griffly in that cave doing the exact same thing, and they all have one collective thought: practice. Once they evolve, they're all going to try and replicate that. At level 25, Griffly unlocks its potential and evolves into Grifflare, a Pyre Air-type creatat. This creatat never rests. Well, it does, but not often. It's always out there either hunting, collecting resources, training its abilities, trying to maximize its true potential. It is for this reason that people have been spotting these creatats flying around outside, like, mountain ranges, because that is where they reside. Now, most of the time, Grifflare will spot these people too, but this is a very reasonable species. They're also decently peaceful. They don't really attack without reason, so they normally just fly off. However, there have been some cases in which a Grifflare descended onto humans and did some activities like, playing with children. Sometimes it went off, gave humans random items, played fetch. These creatures are very curious, very calm. A Grifflare is absolutely perfect for, like, a mental well-being dog, but like a Palcree, so it can also protect you. Upon reaching level 50, Grifflare will evolve into Grifflitz. This creatat has fully unlocked its potential, and is now able to walk on both air and magma. This is why it prefers to use its wings as shields. Still keeping its passive nature, it tries to visit other species, like other species of creatats, and gets along well with them. Sometimes one can be seen trying to get a Growlfoul out of its pen. Humans do not appreciate this species, the Grifflitz, not because of their actions, but because of what they could do, of what they're capable of. It's for this reason that they are hunted down for sport. Right now, there are only 27 Grifflitz left in the wild. The rest are either dead, like being trained by someone, or they are kept in like reservation thingies. So yeah, this is not looking good for them. But there is a singular crack of hope. You see, there is a wildlife reservation program that is kicking up, and that intends to find Griffly, Grifflare, and Grifflitz, and keep them all in an enclosure where they are all safe until they are fully repopulated. Now onto the water type starter, Aqualotl. It is genetically a distant cousin of another creatat known as Aqualotl. Unfortunately, due to its regenerative abilities, it is often taken from its home and experimented on. In 2039, it is estimated that this ability to regenerate themselves will be passed on to the human race. The Aqualotl who do not get taken, however, are left with a burning hatred for humankind, and inside of them is born a spark that will ignite into a blaze that will stop at nothing to retrieve their siblings. The three Aqualotls eventually evolve into Aquarockls, developing the Earth type to help them avenge and retrieve their brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, attempts to rescue them always go wrong, as most of the Aquarockl who try attack the scientists, or anyone there, they get disposed of very quickly. The Aquarockls who don't attempt rescuing their kin yet train. They wait until they evolve. At level 25, Aqualotl becomes Aquarockl, which evolves in level 50 to Aquakolotl. This creature is so determined to rescue its pre-evolutions that it will train, prepare as if it was going to war, which it kind of is, against the lab, raiding it with all its other species. So far, only 3 attempts have succeeded, but they hope to increase that number. Upon the birth of a young Aqualotl, an Aquakolotl will take it into a cave and lay its life down to protect the youngling. If it doesn't die, however, then it gets a whole bunch of other Aquakolotls and Aquarockls and just Aqualotls, just as much as a species as possible, and they all train together. And that is their plan. They are doing this right now as we speak, and soon they will probably be trying to burst into a lab. And now this is stats and status effects for the creatats. Thank you for watching this video, and see ya!